عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. وأسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعل هذا اللقاء لقاء خيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، وأن يعلمنا فيه ما ينفعنا وأن ينفعنا بما علمنا، إنه هو السميع العليم. So, dear brothers and sisters, welcome to this part of the course about marriage. In the last 3 weeks, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, I spoke about the marriage and the benefits of marriage, and also I spoke about al-khitbah, about the engagement and the rules of that. And today inshallah we'll talk about al-aqd. And when we say the word al-aqd, this means that we are talking about the contract. And subhanallah, you'll find this contract for many people, it is the most important contract that they can make during their life. If a person, he's a businessman, for example, and he wins a contract maybe for £1 million, he might invite 10 people to celebrate with him, or 20 people. But when there is a marriage contract, then the person will invite, mashallah, 500, 1,000 in some cases, and more than this in other cases. Why? Because the difference between business contract and marriage contract, that the marriage contract is an establishment of a new life between a man and a woman. And there are two families coming together. And there are many people will be affected by that. In a good way, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So you'll find there is two families coming together, and then because of this relation, then there are mahrams. So the father of the groom become mahram for the girl, the mother of the girl become mahram for the boy. So there are many things, and this will have an impact in the future for people who are not born yet, and these will be the children, insha'Allah ta'ala. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah An-Nisa, when he spoke about this aqd, this contract, he said, وَكَيْفَ تَأْخُذُونَهُ وَقَدْ أَفْضَى بَعْضُكُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ وَأَخَذْنَ مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. So when he spoke about the mahar, and don't take any mahar back from the woman after marriage, how you're going to take it after you've been together and they took from you a heavy contract? Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called the contract, the aqd between the man and the woman, the husband and wife, called it mithaq ghalid. And I'd like really all the brothers and sisters who are already married or thinking about marrying, that remember this fact, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called this mithaq ghalid. It's very, very important, very heavy important. And you have to think all the time about this fact. And the Nabiyyuna Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, in Hajjat al-Wada' and the Khutbat al-Wada', when he spoke about the rights of men, rights of women, he mentioned that وَاسْتَحْلَلْتُمْ فُرُوجَهُنَّ بِكَلْمَةِ اللَّهِ, that this woman became your wife and you can sleep with her by the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we know this, that this lady before the nikah, before the contract, she's stranger for you. You have nothing to do with her. You cannot touch her. You cannot do anything. Then after the ijab qabul, which we will talk about it, and both of you accepting, then there is no barriers between you and her. She's halal to you, you are halal to her, and subhanallah azim. So remember, the beginning of this relation is by the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is this aqd that we are going to talk about it. So again, I emphasize this fact that the marriage contract is the most important contract that the people execute throughout their lives. Each marriage contract normally carries a lasting effect over a large number of individuals, many of them yet to be born. Now, here, when we talk about the contract, we'd like to mention firstly that this is a very serious matter. So there is no jokes about it. And the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, ثلاث جدهن جد وهزلهن جد النكاح والطلاق والرجعة. There are three matters that are considered serious in both serious and non-serious talk: marriage, divorce, and returning a wife who was divorced, and in a terminal divorce. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam saying here that the talaq and nikah, all these things are very serious, because I've seen a video, which is the people, they try to make it as a joke, that sheikh or teacher is teaching, and he said that to get married, then you need the approval of the wali. Then one of the students, he said, Sheikh, what do you need? What I need? He said, you need the approval of the wali. He said, do you have daughters? He said, yes. So he said, if I'd like to get married to your daughter, what shall I ask you? He said, you need my approval. He said, can you give me your approval? He said, yes. He said, okay. Now I married your daughter. He said, come on, this is not the right way. And there are people, they are thinking, they just want to say it to get rid of a problem. No, it is very serious matter. You have to be sure that you want to marry. You decided. And the girl, she's happy with this, and obviously the wali, this is something we'll go to talk about the details. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said that this matter, there's no jokes about it. In another hadith he said, ثلاث لا يجوز اللعب فيهن الطلاق والنكاح والعتق. There are three matters in which it is not permissible to joke: marriage, divorce, and emancipation of slaves, to free the slaves. Now, when we talk about this aqd, this contract, there are conditions. And I'd like everyone to remember these conditions. The first one, both of them, the groom and the bride, must be eligible for marriage. So means eligible that they must reach the age of puberty, the man and the woman. For the girl, we need the consent of the girl. And I will go in details about this, inshallah. And also, we need also the groom's consent. So, in some cases, especially in some cultures, this is your cousin, you must marry her. You like it or you don't like it. You have no choice. And that poor boy, he found himself in this situation, and he has to agree, because if he doesn't, then there will be problems for him, maybe kicked out of the house, all these things. This is force. So the forced marriage works in both ways, on the man and the woman. So the consent with the free will, the man and the woman. and the wali's approval, and the presence of two witnesses. These are the 6 conditions that we need to have them before we start. The consent of both of them must be eligible. We need 2 witnesses, and we need the approval of the wali. The 2 pillars that if you miss any of them, then the nikah is batil, null, invalid, al-ijab wal-qabul. What do you mean by al-ijab wal-qabul? That the wali will say to the one who proposed the marriage, I accept you as husband for my daughter or my sister or the one that I'm in charge of her. And the other one will have the qabul, that I accept what you said. Now this ijab and qabul must be in the same time, according to most of the scholars. Now, in these days, because of the people marrying from different countries and all of these things, some of the scholars, they said there is no harm if there is a little bit delay, as long as both of them they are agreeing. But originally, al-ijab al-qabul must be in the same meeting, in the same gathering. So the wali will say zawajtuka, and the other will say ana qabiltu. Now any words means that is acceptable. Now the scholars, they use certain words because these words doesn't have different meanings. So bil Arabi, if the wali say zawajtuka ibnati, this has one meaning. But he has to say ibnati Khadija, Fatima, Maryam, Alia. So he has to say the name. Because if he says zawajtuka ibnati and he has 5 girls, so which ibna? He has to be precise. And this might invalidate the aqd in itself. So he has to say zawajtuka ibnati Khadija, Fatima, and he will say the mahr. If he doesn't say the mahr at that minute, still valid, but it's better also to say the mahr. Ala mahr, which is 1,000 pounds, 500 pounds, a ring, anything. And this mahr must be something ma'loom. What we mean by ma'loom? Ma'loom is something known, and it can be measured. It has a value. He cannot say, for example, zawajtuka ibnati ala mahr that you decided. No, this is not, because he can decide 10 pounds, 50 pounds, 1,000 pounds. He has to be precise. And this is something they have to agree it beforehand. In my experience with many of these nikahs, I come to the nikah. They said, we need the nikah on this day. I'll go there. Then I'll say, have you agreed the mahr? They say, no, we haven't agreed the mahr. And they start arguing. How much? I gave her a ring. Is this mahr or not? I said, it depends on what you meant by giving the ring. If you gave the ring as a present, no, this is not mahr. But if you said to her, look, I don't have money, but I can give you a ring worth maybe 500 pounds or 1,000 pounds or even 10 pounds. The idea is that both of you must agree on the mahr. There are people, they are saying different things. I've seen a marriage and she said, my mahr will be Umrah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But even in this, I prefer that they will decide Umrah with this travel agent or with this agency. Because, you know, in the Umrah in itself, there is Umrah with 1,000 pounds, and Umrah maybe 1,500 or 2,000. Now, when you say Umrah and you are not precise, then you have to accept anyone. Then after that, if you were looking for Umrah 5 stars, and they will give you Umrah 3 stars, then you say, okay, then this means that now you made problems because you are not precise. So, in the Mahr, you must be clear, precise, and don't be shy about this, because this is something of the deen. There are people, they say, are we paying for the girl? It's not paying. You are not buying the girl. You are marrying her. And originally, this money that you give as mahar is to help that girl to be ready. She might like to buy some clothes, some essential things for herself. And in every society, the mahar and the money is different. And this is halal. As long as the people, they are accepting it, there is no harm. In some societies, the parents of the girl, they pay everything. They bring her gold and furniture and all of these things. I've seen in Egypt, for example, they agree. So they say the girl will furnish the kitchen and the living room, and the man will furnish everything else. As long as they accepted these things between them, there is no harm. But you need to write all of these things and to be sure that the rights, the haqq of everyone is clear. One of the things about al-aqd also, that it must be on time, at this time. Don't relate it to something might happen in the future. So, for example, a father has a daughter. Then one of the brothers came and he said, I'd like to marry your daughter. He said, okay, no problem, alhamdulillah. Then they come to do the aqd, and he will say, زوجتك ابنتي, I accept you as a husband when her uncle comes from Pakistan. Say, if this uncle doesn't come, what will happen now? So the aqd is not valid now. So you cannot relate the aqd for something in the future. Everything must be now. So either you do it now or you delay it if you have other problems. Now, both of them, the wali and the future husband, must accept the same words. What I mean by that, I gave you the example of the names. So if the wali said, زوجتك ابنتي خديجة على مهر 1,000 pounds, and that one he said, وأنا قبلت الزواج من ابنتك عائشة على مهر 500 pounds. This is not now. They dispute about the amount. They dispute about the name. Maybe that person, in his mind, he doesn't like Khadija, he likes Aisha. But the father, he said, okay, if he's coming and I have Khadija and Aisha, I'd like to just him to marry Khadija. So now there is dispute. So the words of the wali and the future husband must be the same. If it comes to do with the name, or also the amount of money that they are accepting. And as I said, the scholars, they said that the nikah or the aqd must be on time, at the same time, in the same place. Now, al-alfaz, the words that you are using for the nikah, as I said earlier, any words which means the nikah is accepted. The Quran used two words only for this. He used the word nikah and the word zawaj. Both of them means marriage. Now the scholars, when they come, they went to the details of these things. But here we are trying to make the thing simple and everyone will understand. So nikah and zawaj in Arabic means the marriage when we talk about it in English. So if the man say ankahtuka, that's fine. If he says zawajtuka, that's fine. Some scholars, they prefer Arabic. Personally, I prefer Arabic. So when I do the nikah, I say to them, it's only a few words. I prefer to say it in Arabic. But in some cases, I found the people that they find it so difficult to say zawajtuka, and then ibnati, then I say, okay, let us make it easy. Say, I accept you as a husband for my daughter, so and so, and there is no harm in this. And Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, he mentioned that I prefer that all the uqood, all the things, contracts must be in Arabic. But you have to understand that the relations between people and also the contracts between people can be in any language. If someone likes to buy a car, this is in itself is aqd, it's a contract. You don't say to the people, okay, you cannot buy the car until it is in Arabic, or buy a house and all of these things. So it is better to use Arabic, but if you use any other words which means the marriage, that's fine. Al-Quran used, as I said, zawaj, used the nikah, and all of these is accepted, insha'Allah ta'ala. By the way, I have to say that there are some scholars with the opinion that you must use certain words. If you use any other words, the nikah is invalid, and this is not the most authentic opinion. The most authentic opinion, any words which means that the wali accepted and the man accepted, inshallah, this will be haqq, and they will continue, inshallah ta'ala. Now, as I mentioned earlier, which I'll go in some details, what are the conditions for both of them? Firstly, every one of them must be, as they say بالعربي, بالغ عاقل, reach the age of puberty, and he's sane. So someone, he's not sane, the marriage is not valid. So he must be sane, and he must be بالغ, which means reach the puberty. And secondly, as I said earlier, both of them must accept, give them consent, and both of them, they must not have any reason for التحريم. Means that this girl, she doesn't belong to you in any relation that makes this marriage haram. So, and we know that you cannot marry your mother, your sister, and your niece from both. And if you and her breastfed by the same woman, so any relation which makes the marriage haram, then this should not be the case. So you have to be sure that there isn't any reason to think that I cannot marry this girl. Now, one of the common mistakes, I heard it from many brothers, that say you cannot marry the first cousin. And there is nothing in Sharia saying you cannot marry your first cousin. Your first cousin, you can marry your first cousin. There is no harm in this at all. You cannot marry your niece from your brother or your sister. But the first cousin is halal. There is no harm in this at all. And the other thing, every one of them, the girl and the boy, must be known. Who are they? So you cannot start the procedure of the marriage and you don't know who's the girl and who's the boy. I tell you something happened in my experience. A brother came to me and he said, this brother, he'd like to get married. I said, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, that's fine. He said, can you do the nikah? I said, yeah. After Maghrib. So after Maghrib, the two brothers with other two brothers came. So we went to the office. I said to them, okay, we'd like to start the procedure. Where's the girl? And one of the brothers, he said, I am the wali of the girl. I said, MashaAllah, where's the girl? He said, why you need the girl? I am the wali of the girl. I said to him, Subhanallah al-Azim, how you want me to start the procedure of nikah and I haven't seen the girl and I don't know who is the girl? This has happened. I said to them, brothers, go, find something else. So the girl must be known, and the imam who will do nikah, must see the girl to be sure that there is a person that you are marrying. You cannot say that, no, any girl, she's there. Why you need to see her? I remember in one case, I think he was the uncle, the wali. And I said to him, I'd look to take the consent of the girl. He said, I am her wali. Why you need to take her consent? I said, brother, I need to take it. This is the procedure. So, because there is some cases that there were problems in this. And after they do everything, you'll find the girl is not the girl, the boy is not the girl, and there is problems. So both of them, the boy and the girl, must be, as the scholar said, ma'loom. You know who is he. It's clear. So if he is not here for any reason, he need to give authorization to someone, and this must be in writing, clear, that he will say, I authorize my dad to go in the procedure. This is my signature, and all of these things. So you have to be precise. One of the conditions that the scholars put, that those who are in the procedure of the aqd, they must understand each other. So, someone speaks Urdu and the other speak English. And this one speaks Urdu and the other one, he say, I don't know what he's talking about. Then the other one tried to translate and he said, I'm not sure if the translation is true or not. So they must understand each other. If they need translator during this, they must trust the translator. So the one who translates must be, as the scholar said, adl, that he is known that he is truthful person. He will not say something that after a while, and there is a problem, they say, no, I didn't accept any of these conditions. They say, no, but the translator will say, no, even I don't trust this person. He's a liar. So you have to be sure that both of them understand each other and understand what they are saying. Now we'll come to the aqd in itself. The scholars, when they spoke about this, the aqd, they said there is two types. There is aqd sahih and there is aqd batil. Al-aqd sahih, the authentic contract now, is the one that has all these conditions that I mentioned. Al-aqd al-fasid is, or al-batil, the aqd which lose any of the conditions and the pillars that I mentioned earlier. Now, al-aqd al-sahih, the authentic one, there is many things comes after that. Yarhamkallah. As I mentioned earlier, now there is muharramat comes in place. So the mother of your wife, she's haram on you now. And even her auntie from both sides. And also for the man, the mother of the girl also haram on him, as I said. And now the father of the groom, or the husband now, becomes muharram. And also this lady now, you have to accommodate her, spend on her, clothe her, feed her, all these rights. And if there is divorce or anything, that you have to pay the nafaqah, the maintenance. So all these huquq, rights, because of what? Because of the aqd. If you have children, these children will be your children. You like it or you don't like it, they are your children. And they are your responsibility. You have to spend on them, you have to teach them. Everything in their life, you are responsible for that. So all of this because of what? Because of al-aqd al-sahih, this authentic one. Now, if this aqd is batil, then nothing of these will be applied. Now, I'll give you some examples of these al-uqud al-batila, which is the scholars, they spoke about it. The first type of al-aqd al-batil, if you marry a married woman. Someone will say, does this happen? And they'll say to you, I have personally 2 cases like this. One sister came and she said, I'm married to a person for about 10 years maybe. And I don't like him after the first year or second year. We have a child, and I said to him, look, I don't like you. Stay away from me, and I will look after the child. He said, no, in our culture, divorce is a big thing. I cannot divorce you. And the parents, they said, no, you cannot divorce, from both sides. So they lived together. In the name, they are husband and wife, but in reality, they are not husband and wife. He doesn't even sleep in the same house. For 10 years, then she said to him, let us finish this. He said no. So then they went to the court, and the civil court, and they divorced them. So after they divorced them, this lady, she took the certificate of that divorce and took it to one of these masajid, I think, in the north. I don't know how they gave her a certificate that she's divorced. They didn't ask the husband, nothing. So she took this, and she considered this is now fine. And then she went to and married another person. After maybe 5-6 months, someone advised her. She said, what you are doing is wrong. You are not divorced yet. Then she asked me, she just called me, and she said, what shall I do? I said, Now, this marriage, the second one, is haram. This is haram. You cannot marry while you are still not divorced. She said, but that masjid gave me a certificate. I said, that masjid doesn't matter, gave you or doesn't. You cannot marry another person until you are divorced. So she said, what's the solution? I said, the only solution, that man divorce you, because already you are 10 years, you are not real husband, wife. It's only on papers. So let him divorce you, then do what you like. So when I'm saying that there are cases that there are people, they go to marriage, because they are separated or they have problems or these things, then the lady goes there and do. Another case, the brother who married her, after she wasn't divorced, he said, don't worry, in this country we don't need these things. As long as we agreed, that's fine, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And they went to an imam, and the imam said, you agree? But mashallah, you are 25, you can get married? Okay. And they married. And she asked me, and they explained to her, and when she went to him to say to him, look, our marriage is batil, he said, who's this sheikh? How is saying to you that our marriage is batil? This country is different. Subhanallah al-Azim. What's the relation between this country and if the Sharia, the marriage is halal or haram? Halal and haram applies if you are in Saudi Arabia, or if you are in Pakistan, if you are in UK, or if you are in the Himalaya. It's the same, because the deen is one. And this is one of the problems with some brothers and sisters. They think when they come to this country, or if they go to Europe, then the Islamic rulings doesn't apply. They like just to follow their desires. So the first type of the batil marriage is if this lady is still married. Now, it doesn't matter, and I say this to the sisters and those who might watch this later, doesn't matter if you are separated or not. The man must divorce you if you find yourself you cannot continue, or you ask for khula. But just because you have been away from each other for 1 year or 2 years or 10 years, this relation must be finished either by divorce or by khula. And I'd like to mention here, it is not necessary that this divorce must be 3 times. I say this again. It's not necessary that the divorce must be 3 times. If that man divorced you once and 3 months passed, you didn't come together, that marriage is finished now. Then after that, go and marry. No one will stop you. You don't wait until he divorces you the second time and the third time. No. If the man divorced his wife once and he knows what he's doing clearly, and he said, you are divorced, or anti-taliq, or say talaq, or you said, you are not my wife anymore, any words means this, then that, and the iddah finished. If she's still have her period 3 cycles passed, or if she's pregnant, gives birth, then after that she's not married anymore, and she can marry. Now, the other type of marriage, which is batil, if the Muslim woman married a non-Muslim person. If this person is an atheist, or if he's Christian, or a Jew or Hindu or these things. And unfortunately, brothers and sisters, there are some marriages like this. So they fall in love and she doesn't think about the deen, anything, and they get married. And this marriage is batil. Absolutely batil. And the Quran says this clearly. In Surah Al-Baqarah 221. ولا تنكحوا المشركات حتى يؤمن ولا أمة مؤمنة خير من مشركة ولو أعجبتكم ولا تنكحوا المشركين حتى يؤمنوا ولا عبد مؤمن خير من مشرك ولو أعجبكم أولئك يدعون إلى النار والله يدعو المغفرة إلى الجنة والمغفرة بإذنه ويبين آياته للناس لعلهم يتذكرون. Don't marry the non-Muslim girls until they believe, and a Muslim slave girl is better than the mushrika, even if you like her, and the same with the men. Don't marry the mushrikeen, the non-believers, until they believe, and the slave man is better, a believer is better than the mushrik, even if you like them. The Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the reason. Those, they are calling for the hellfire, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling for Jannah and forgiveness by His will, and He makes His ayahs, signs clear to the people so they remember. And Al-Ummah Al-Islamiyya, all the Muslim nations, all the Muslim scholars, without any difference, they are accepting this rule that you cannot marry a non-Muslim. This is for the girl. Now, as I explained before, you can marry a Christian or a Jew if there is a need, and she must be chaste woman, and you do the right procedure. It is haram also to marry a Muslim girl if she is murtad. Murtad means that she said, I don't believe in Allah. I don't consider the salah is fard. I don't consider the hijab is fard. I don't like Islam in general. This is murtad. And the same, if he said salah is not fard, Quran, I don't believe in it, and the Sunnah, I don't believe in the Sunnah at all. So all of these murtadeen, it is not allowed. The other batil nikah is nikah al-mut'ah. And nikah al-mut'ah is a nikah for a certain period of time. It might be 1 day, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month. It depends how they agree between them. And this was permitted at a certain time on the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then in Khaybar, in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, now nikah al-mut'ah has been forbidden until the day of judgment. Now, Ahl al-Sunnah, in general, all of them, they are saying nikah al-mut'ah is haram. And the only people who are still doing it is the Shia. And even some of them, they consider that it is something you become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing it. And unfortunately, after that, it became a service that they are offering to the people who come to visit these places in Mashhad and Qom and Karbala and all of these things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the hidayah. The scholars, they said, there is one ayah clear that nikah al-mut'ah is batil. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون. So in Surah Al-Mu'minun, he said, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the believers, he said, those who keep their private parts protected, except for their wives, or if they have slaves at that time. And anyone who tried to fulfill his desire outside this, أولئك هم العادون, those people has been transgressed. So this ayah clearly that the only way these days we can say that you fulfill your desire for women is through the marriage, and anything else is haram. And hadith النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم in Sahih Muslim, يا أيها الناس إني قد كنت أذنت لكم في الاستمتاع من النساء وإن الله قد حرم ذلك إلى يوم القيامة فمن كان عنده شيء فليخلي سبيله ولا تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا. So he said to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I gave you permission before for this nikah al-mut'ah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this haram until the day of judgment. Anyone who has any of it, so let him leave it, let them go, and if you gave them any money, then don't take anything back. One of the new ways that maybe you heard about it is زواج بنية الطلاق. زواج بنية الطلاق, they said someone, and basically they try to, some scholars, not all the scholars, they try to make this fit for the people who are coming to Europe and they need papers. They say, okay, that person needs papers and the only way is to marry a girl. So what he will do is to marry a girl, and in his mind he is trying to divorce her after 1 year or 2 years. And the other excuse that those who are coming to study here and they know that they are staying 2, 3 years, 4 years, depends. So they are saying instead of committing haram, let him marry someone and with the intention of divorce. And this type of marriage, doesn't matter who said it, and even the authority of that sheikh or not, it is batil. This is zawaj batil. Because zawaj in itself, the marriage in itself, is built on that you are married her as long as you are with her, as you are alive, unless you divorce her. But when you intend at the minute of the aqd that you are going to divorce her, then this is haram, and this invalidates the aqd in itself. The third type of the nikah, which is batil, is nikah al-muhallal, or I think they call it halala. And these days here, I heard, I was in one of the programs on Inspire FM maybe last year, and they say it became a business. So these people, they charge £1,000, £2,000. If he's rich, maybe £5,000, and do halala. So what's a halala or muhallal? Someone will divorce his wife first time, second time, 3 times. Or if he went to an imam who's following the Hanafi madhab, and he will say to him, you like divorce? Okay, say it 3 times. And I saw this, they write it. I divorced my wife, divorced my wife, divorced, in the same time. So now he divorced his wife 3 times. Then, according to their madhab, this is now, that lady is haram. He cannot marry her. Then after that, he regrets what he did. Or she regrets herself that she pushed him to divorce her. Then they start talking, what can we do? Then they will say, the only solution is al-halala, that you go to someone, rent him for a few days to marry your wife, then after that he will divorce her. The iddah finish, she will comes back to you. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, this is a taysul musta'ar. Taysul musta'ar means the borrowed male sheep. So you go like someone, you know, the people who has sheep know this, that not all the farmers, they have males and that they can't do this with the sheep. So they will go and rent from the next farmer, and that sheep will stay with the sheep for 2-3 days, 1 week, until everything is fine. This is the same. This is what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. And the scholars, without any exception, they are saying this zawaj is batil, and it is haram to do it. And if anyone took money because of that, this money is haram. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said in Sunan ibn Majah عن عقبة بن عامر قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا أخبركم بالتيس المستعار قالوا بلى يا رسول الله قال هو المحلل لعن الله المحلل والمحلل له. So he asked them, shall I tell you about this borrowed sheep or male sheep? They said, yes, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, the one who is used for making this permitted. And then he said, لعن الله المحلل والمحلل له. May Allah curse the one who's doing this and the one being done for him. The fourth type of nikah which is batil, nikah shagar. What's nikah shagar? Nikah shagar means that A has a sister and B has a sister. So what they say, they will say, I'll marry your sister and you marry my sister. Without mahr, without anything. So they consider that A will marry the B's sister and B will marry A's sister without paying the mahr, and they consider this is a condition of the marriage. Now, can I marry the sister of that person and maybe after that he will marry my sister? There's no harm in this. But where is the problem? The problem when we make this a condition. And I know personally, not one or two, many of these types of marriage. And what will happen? A will marry B's sister and they are fine. Everything is fine. They are happy. They have children. Then B doesn't like A's sister. He married her, but didn't work. Start problems. What will happen? A is happy with his wife. B is not happy. He likes to divorce her. Then he said, then A, you must divorce. SubhanAllah, why? Why we go in this dilemma? So if you'd like to do it, if you like the sister of your friend and your friend like your sister, okay. So we'll do this separate and we'll do this separate. We don't link them together in the same nikah without saying the mahar. So if there is mahar, there is fire. But we don't make that this is a condition for this marriage. This is where nikah الشجار. And الحديث البخاري عن عبد الله بن عمر نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الشغار والشغار أن يزوج الرجل ابنته على أن يزوجه الآخر ابنته ليس بينهما صداق. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbids the shagar, and the shagar is that the one who accepted the marriage of his daughter to someone, and in return that person will marry his daughter without the mahr. And this is the explanation of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam of this nikah, which is called nikah al-shagar. The last one of this batil nikah nikah is when the lady made a condition that if you marry another one, you divorce me. Now, I've seen this, and one lady, she put this in her marriage, not through me, but I know about it. And I told him, this is batil. Why this batil, brothers and sisters? This is batil because you are linking halal with haram. So now he married you, and you know that it is halal for the man to marry 2, 3, 4, which is something we'll discuss it in details, inshallah. You know this. I'm not encouraging now all the brothers to go and marry second, third, and fourth. But I'm saying, if you know that this is halal, leave it to the circumstances, or leave it, to be more precise, to qadar Allah Azza wa Jal. But to say, look, you marry me, I am the queen here now. So if you'd like to bring another queen, no, 2 queens in the same place, it doesn't work. So you have to get rid of one of them. You have to divorce me if you marry another one. Why? Al-asl that any condition against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated is batil. So the condition in itself is batil. Why? Because it's against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it permissible for the man to marry the second and the third or the fourth. Now, if you say to him, no, if you marry, you divorce me, or the other way around, that someone like to marry a second wife, and he likes her, and then when he will go talk to the parents, they say, okay, we have a condition. What's the condition? You divorce the first one. Why? No, my daughter cannot marry a person who's already married. Okay, so if she doesn't accept that, but she knows when I started talking that I am married already. Now, there are people lying, and I don't encourage lying. No sheikh, no imam, no Muslim will encourage lying. So if you be truthful, tell the people that you are married if you are going there to marry another person. But now to put a condition which is against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated, this is haram. And there is hadith precise. لا يحل لامرأة تسأل طلاق أختها لتفرغ صفحتها فإنما لها ما قدر لها. It is haram for a woman to ask for the divorce of her sister in Islam. So the husband will be hers because she will have what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made qadar for her. So accept what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made qadar for you, but to make a condition that I'm not going to accept you until you divorce your wife, this is haram. And in hadith al-Bukhari, Abu Huraira, نهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن تشترط المرأة طلاق أختها. So Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم forbids that the woman will ask or make a condition that you must divorce my sister in Islam. So this is the عقود, which is, as I mentioned, called عقود باطلة. Now we'll come to an important subject, which is the people making a lot of problems about it, which is الولاية في النكاح. الولي. Now, the man who reached the age of puberty and he's sane, he can make the aqd by himself for the man. The woman, she needs wali. And this wali is the one who will have the authority to make the nikah on behalf of his daughter or his sister. But we are talking mainly about the father. Now, there are some people trying to say, when Islam saying that we need wali, this is to limit the freedom of the woman. This is something to make the life of girls hard. And they say, Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Do you think, brothers and sisters, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will legislate something for his servants to make their life hard? Is there anything in Islam that makes the life of the people hard? Islam came to make the lives of the people simple and easy and make the people happy. What I found in my experience, I am in this field, brothers and sisters, more than 40 years. And I dealt with many cases when I was in Jordan with the Sharia court. And here in different masjid, I've seen cases, and I've seen how the people who neglected this rule, the rule of the wilaya, how they suffered. I'll give you an example. A mother called me and she said to me, we need your help. I said, how can I help? She said, our daughter was in the college. She knew a boy there. And he asked for the marriage. And we found that he's not the right person. So we didn't accept that. So what the girl did, she went to an imam, and that imam done the marriage for them. 2 or 3 months. Then the police called us. They said, are you the parents of so-and-so? I said, yes. Said, your daughter been in a very serious condition. She's been abused and hit, and she's in the hospital. So when they went to her, what happened? Because they didn't spoke to her after she did that. And she said, he used to hit me, abused me, did this and that. And look, and they can see the bruises and miserable condition. Okay. So how can I help? They said, the family of that brother, they want, we said to them, this zawaj is batil. And they said, no, we need a proof that this zawaj, this marriage is batil. And could you write for us something? So I said, okay, alhamdulillah. So I prepared, about the hadith and the ayahs, which will come to the details, inshallah, to prove that this type of zawaj, this type of marriage is batil. You cannot start a marriage without the acceptance of the wali. Now look, this is only one example, but I can talk about different examples until the morning. How the people, they suffered because they ignored this rule that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated the wali for the woman, is not for abuse, is not for to make their life difficult or to limit their freedom, no. Firstly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes this lady to have all the time al-haya. Now, when the father comes to the brother and talks to him, and the girl, she's there. So then the father will save her to be in front of all the other men and come and say, yes, yes, I accept him, or I don't accept him. And also saves you from taking a great decision that you don't know about it. Secondly, the men, the parents in general. Generally speaking, I am not saying that there isn't exceptions, but generally speaking, the parent, any parents, I am a parent, and some of you parents, the parent all the time, he's thinking of the best of his children, boy or a girl. Maybe sometimes their judgment is wrong. Maybe their judgment is because of the culture. Their judgment because of wrong estimate, wrong ideas, wrong news. I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but we are talking the general. The father, he cares about his daughter, and he likes his daughter to live a beautiful and happy life. He doesn't want this girl to go and get married. Then in 3-4 weeks, she started calling off, I'd like to get divorced. And every 2-3 weeks, they are going there to find a solution, and problem after problem after problem. Why? Because she made the wrong choice. So the parents, in generally speaking, they are concerned about their children. They're concerned about their daughters. They are thinking about the good for them. They are not doing this because they like to be dictators. And also, when the wali is there and the marriage, and he will be part of the procedure and these things, this will make what we call it ishar, the announcement. Now, if this marriage happened between the boy and the girl without the parents, is there ishar? No, there is no ishar. They done in secret, and maybe they live together for months and weeks, and no one knows about this. And the ishar is one of the wisdom of the marriage that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes the people to know about this. Fourthly, this marriage is not only something to do between you and the girl. It is to do with the families also. The family of your side, the family of her side. So why are you starting a family that you would like to establish a family from it by cutting the relations of other family? What type of family is this? What you are expecting? Establishing a new family means also you are bringing two families together. Now, when you start this by cutting the relation with the girl's parents, what you are expecting? Do you think Allah will bless this type of family? Never. And never these types of family will last. And on top of that the parents, when they find themselves that despite their will, that the girl went and get married, this will stay a pain in their hearts and their minds all the time. So for these girls who are doing these things, are these parents worth this, deserve this from you? The parents who looked after you, brought you up, sent you to the college or university, and loves you and care about you, is this the way that you say to them thank you? Because of a man. You are selling your family for a man. And this man might be a good person or a bad person. So my words really to all these sisters who are thinking sometimes about getting married without the parents' consent, fear Allah. Firstly, think about yourself, your parents, your future. Think about this man that you are going to marry. Is this sacrifice worth it? I don't think so. And in the same time, we say, brothers and sisters, that the parents must be reasonable. And Islam forbids something called adl, al-adl. What's al-adl means? That when you refuse the husband or the proposed husband without a valid reason. And I am sure all of you heard stories or you've been through experience that the people refused because of the color, because of the origin, because of the village, the family, all these, which is not valid reasons in Islam at all. The valid reason is, as the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إذا أتاكم من ترضون دينه فزوجوه إلا تفعلوه تكن فتنة في الأرض وفساد كبير أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. When the person with deen comes to you, accept him. If you don't do that, then there will be fitna, trials, وفساد, corruption. Do you see this or not, brothers? We see this. Because now the people, they are accepting everything other than the deen. Money, what car he's driving. Does he have a house or not? What type of job? How he looks like? Is he handsome or not? White, black, green, yellow? So they are asking all these questions. How many they ask? Does he pray? Does he go to the masjid? Going to masjid is normal. But no, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, when you see the person going to the masjid frequently, then he's a believer, inshallah. So this is a sign. Because why a person, especially here in this country, why a person keeps coming to the masjid? If there isn't something in his heart, why he goes to the masjid? He can stay at home. But when there's something in the heart pushes him, this is a masjid of Allah, go there, respond to the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ فَزَوِّجُوهُ. This is my message to the parents. When the person with deen comes, accept him. I'm not saying don't look to the others. Look to the other elements. There is no harm in this. And also, be reasonable. Don't put a lot of conditions. Because when you put a lot of conditions, here they don't ask for a lot of mahar or dowry. But I know in other countries, they ask for thousands of pounds for the mahar. And this will make the people run away. Why shall I pay this? So my message really to the parents, when there is a person comes to you, you accept his deen. Don't put conditions. Don't ask for a lot of money. And be reasonable. And when you find that this marriage, inshallah, going to work, let it go. And put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, you'll be rewarded. because you are helping to establish an Islamic family. And from this family, inshallah, there will be people saying, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasul. So let's stop here, inshallah ta'ala. And inshallah, next week, we'll continue this subject, inshallah ta'ala. And if you have any question, we have about 15 minutes. And I put the microphone today, so I don't need to repeat the questions.
With regards to nikah that's performed over the phone when someone's in abroad, is that valid? And also, if the sister agrees with the brother her mahr, but her wali disagrees, and the sister then proceeds with it, is that nikah valid or not? Sure.
Okay. So let me answer the first question. Now, the scholars now accepted the nikah over the phone, but as I said during my explanation, this nikah must be ma'loom. So the person that he is calling, he must be known. And even these days, it is easy to recognize because he can call over Skype or any of these programs. So you have to be sure that the girl that you are calling or the man who is calling, they are known to the wali, to the witnesses who are there. This is about the phone. Now, the mahr is part of the procedure. If the girl asked for 1,000 pounds and the father said no, 1,000 is too much, and then he accepted, this marriage, this is valid, insha'Allah ta'ala. Because when she gives him the authority to represent her, then what he says is valid, inshallah. I'm saying, she is 1,000, and the wali say, oh, 5,000 is enough. Yeah? And then he accepted the 5,000. Because he's the wali, and she gave him the permission to represent her, then what he says is valid. Now. And this is what I explained. She said, a lady, she said, as you with me, you are not allowed to marry another woman. Is what you say. Yes. This shart is batil. Yeah, this shart is batil. The shart is batil, but the nikah is valid. Yeah? The shart, the condition is batil, but the nikah is valid.
Couple of questions here. First of all, if a sister is trying to get
Okay. Now, the khulu' in itself is a full subject that we'll talk about it, inshallah ta'ala. So the khulu' happened when the husband doesn't want to give divorce. Okay? And she noticed that that person is not responding, not doing his duties and all of these things. Then the khulu', the procedure of the khulu' can start. And here there is Sharia court in London and deal with these things. They have a certain procedure. The second question? Nikah al-Misyar is, they are saying, now, when the woman, she gives up some of her rights, it's her right. So if she say, I can be a second wife, but I don't want, I don't insist that you divide the nights between me and the other girl, and you don't have to spend on me and all of these things. If she gives her rights, it's up to her. It's not normal, but in يعني, you'll find it in certain communities, mainly in the Gulf. Because there are divorced women, there is widows and all of these things, and they need someone to take care of them. So they accepted these. But the asl is to have proper marriage. But they found this is an option that she will be with a man, gives her some comfort, but she will not ask for all her rights. And in some cases, they will accept at the beginning, then after 1 or 2 months, they start complaining. Now, my advice is, as I say for the girl, she must have the wali. I say for the boy, he must try his best to have the consent of his parents. I know some parents, they are difficult. Some parents, they refuse for the reasons that most of you know. The origin, the color, the country, all these reasons. Not valid reasons. The experience saying that many of these marriages fail, choose the word you like. Why? Because as a human beings, doesn't matter how much you try to cut yourself from your family, from your parents, still there is something here. Will make you attached to them in one way or another. And you marry this girl despite the will of your parents, then there is a problem. Then what you will start off? I wish that I listened to my mom. Then your parents, they have an event, and you know that your brother's going, your sister's going, you are the only one in the family you are not going because they're not happy with you. How you feel? So all of these things, which is real, I'm not talking about something is not happening. So try your best to make them accept, explain to them, use your uncle or auntie or sister. Try your best. But if you feel at the end they are not reasonable at all, there isn't any reason, there isn't anything, you can proceed. It's not haram now, but keep the good relation with them. Don't cut the relation with them. Even if they cut the relation with you, keep the relation with them. Maybe after that, especially if you have a child, then their hearts will move and the things will be better. But my initial advice, don't proceed unless the two families are happy, inshallah.
Is there evidence for not being able to keep the condition of a man not marrying another wife while he is married to you?
No condition. And I explained this.
Second question, if you are separated and your husband doesn't have a problem with that, but doesn't want to divorce you because it will upset the family, what should you do in this situation according to Islam?
He must divorce or you ask for khula.
I think you've elaborated on the Sheikh. Is it permissible to reject a person based on their ethnicity?
No. So the rejection must be for a valid reason, mainly for the deen.
The mahr amount, I don't know whether this is a Bengali culture. Should it be, if it's cash, should it be an odd number?
No. The mahr can be any amount, can be, I know some of them, they say it must be a certain number, or they relate it to the mahr of Fatima, but there is no evidence on this.
Hasn't given the consent for the daughter to get married, and she goes ahead and still marries him. Is that halal or?
Now, it depends on the imam who done that marriage. If the imam of that who done that marriage, and this is, I'll come to details of this, inshallah, next week. If that imam, he is following the madhab of Abu Hanifa and applies all the conditions of the madhab, then that nikah will be valid. Because Imam Abu Hanifa put 6 conditions for that. And the imams here, unfortunately, maybe 1% of them, they apply 1 or 2 conditions. But the majority, they don't apply any of the conditions of Abu Hanifa. Because Abu Hanifa, he said, yes, the woman who's baligh, aqil, she can marry by herself, but the husband must have 6 conditions. Now, if he has the 6, then this valid. And he's saying, Imam Abu Hanifa, that if he found that after the marriage, that this man doesn't have any of these 6 conditions, he can go to the qadi, the judge, and invalidate that marriage. And this doesn't, no one doing it here. So, but I'll talk about this, yani al-wilaya, and what the different madhab talk about it, inshallah, in details, in full details, because it's a very important issue next week, inshallah, if Allah gives us life.
My question is, if husband, any reason, they have argument or just he went abroad for work and he disappeared, off and 1 year passed, 2 years passed, can this woman consider this marriage to be cancelled, or she have to ask for hula without him knowing, or is there certain time she have to wait until she can, like, say, because whole life and she don't know, maybe he died or?
And the Sharia have found a solution for this, and in every country they put a period. I think in Jordan, 1 year. So if the man disappeared for a year and they has no address, no contact, and these things, then she can go to the Shia court and the Qadi will divorce her. Now, the same here. If we are here in UK and this lady, she says that this man, he went to Latvia, yeah, and he didn't come back at all. I tried to call him. I sent people to find him, no address, these things. Then the imam can divorce her after fulfillment of all these conditions. No, divorce. The imam can divorce her.
I've heard that if the wali of the woman, he is someone who is not establishing his salah, or he does the obligations of Islam, that he's not suitable to be a wali of the woman. Is this something that's correct to say?
It depends on why that person doesn't pray. if that person doesn't pray because of laziness, ignorance, then this person is still considered as a Muslim, and he can still a wali. But if this person, you talk to him, why you didn't pray? And he said, what? Why I need to pray? And once I asked a person, this happened to me. I asked the person, Akhi, why you don't come to pray? He said, why shall I pray? Most of the people who are praying in the masjid, the first saf, they are liars and thieves. Honestly. So I said to him, okay, come and pray in the first saf, and don't be a thief or don't be a liar. Easy, simple. If all of them thieves and liars, go there and don't be a thief or a liar. But the shaitan, sometimes, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, زَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. The shaitan beautified to the people their actions. So instead of saying astaghfirullah, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me and these things. Because you will hear these things from some people. He is lazy, and you'll find him, Ramadan, he's coming to the masjid. After Ramadan, he leaves the masjid. He heard about janazah, then, astaghfirullah, the life is too short, let me pray. 1 or 2 days, then goes back to his old system. Now, these we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide them, to give them hidayah. But if a person say, no, salah is not fard, I don't believe in salah, and even this Islam, I don't know why I talk about Islam in this country. No, this is kufr, and he cannot be wali. Find another wali. No. Okay. Jazakum Allah khair for listening. Barakallah feekum.